Hi, everybody. It's Marissa from Marissa's Wellbeing and Health, and I'm so happy to be here today. As you know, I often bring experts on to my YouTube channel to talk about different aspects of a healthy lifestyle that I am not an expert in. So today I have Apryl Schlueter from the Cheerful Mind, and she has a life coaching practice. She's based in Chicago. So hi, Apryl. Thanks for being here today.
Hey, Marissa, long time no see.
I know. So we should probably tell everybody how we met, which
My mom. No.
well, it's true. I was April's pledge mom in our sorority in college. And so we go back a really long way, which we don't want to date ourselves here, but we do go back
Just a couple years.
Yeah, just a few years. So it's really great to kind of bring things full circle from when we were pledges in our sorority and get online together and talk about healthy lifestyle habits. Apryl, do you want to tell us a little bit about what you do in your coaching practice?
For sure. And Marissa, I just want to say thanks for having me on. It's so good to connect. And it's funny because, we both came from two different sides of, our educational backgrounds. And now we're both coaching and helping people live these, amazing lives and being happy in, with themselves and all that. So thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
So my company is called The Cheerful Mind, and it started with this concept of, I have a very broad background going all the way back to engineering and IT, and I did a little stint in education and then worked in finance and kind of did all of this stuff. But a few years ago, I quit my job trying to find this job that was going to be fulfilling for my life, but would also allow me to do all the things that I like to do outside of work, because work kind of always took over my life. So I'm also a mom now and doing all of this stuff. So I was trying to find this lifestyle that was going to allow me to, enjoy the busyness of life, but to get a lot of things done, be able to juggle all the things on my plate, being a mom, being a, now an entrepreneur and all of those things. And so I basically work with people who are struggling with things like work-life balance, time management, and just trying to help them have more fun while getting stuff done. So I work with busy, overcommitted people who are just looking to be more fulfilled, have fun. They're looking for more happiness and more productivity.
Great. Yeah. I mean, I notice all the time, like that's typical of a lot of my clients. They're just stretched way too thin and super overcommitted. I know that we wanted to talk a little bit today about procrastination, which I brought up to you because when you told me that you specialize in procrastination, it sort of like clicked to me because so often when I'm working with clients, they're telling me that they are prone to procrastination and maybe they don't see themselves as procrastinators, but they somehow let procrastination take over in their lives. Even if they are, go-getter type of a person and highly accomplished, procrastination can sometimes really creep in and sort of like haunt them. So can you just tell me a little bit, like how common is procrastination? Because I find that I'm hearing that more and more from people.
Yeah, I think everybody procrastinates, and they procrastinate on different things, right? Because the reason that people are procrastinating is because they're trying to delay or avoid a task that they know needs to be accomplished, but they're not too excited about it. Of course, when it comes to, having to make the choice between like, oh, do I want to sit and watch TV and just hang out? Or do I want to actually go and clean the house? There's one that's a lot more fun, right? So it's not as hard to, do the things that excite you, but it kind of takes a little bit of, oomph to get yourself to do something that that would, maybe be good for you or that you need to do. Like I wouldn't want to clean my toilets. And I guess, you know, for your clients to think about like having to make this shift into a healthier lifestyle and knowing that they need to do certain things to make that happen, you know, it could take a while for them to really connect with, you know, actually moving forward and actually doing something about it. And I think that that's why so many people struggle when it comes to health. I mean, I I know that I'd rather eat something that tastes really, really good. I know we've talked about this. Than just, you know, going and eating all of the kale and the everything that everybody says. It would be more healthy in terms of food. So yeah, I think everybody does it in some form or another.
Yeah, I mean, what are the main reasons why? I mean, I feel like on some level, like when my clients are procrastinating, the thing that's behind it is fear, like fear of either success or fear of failure, on one end of the spectrum or another. What do you find are like the main reasons why people tend to procrastinate?
Absolutely.
Fear?
Yeah, I think fear is a huge, huge reason. But I mean, just the whole concept of having to do something unpleasant or uncomfortable, you know, we have a tendency to just want to do stuff that's safe and comfortable and, you know, doesn't stretch us beyond our comfort zone. So, you know, when we want to take a route, if it's easy, of course we're going to do that. We never have this tendency to want to do the hard thing, right? So it is that, you know, well, what if it doesn't work? You know, it could be a fear of anything. It could be the fear of failure, fear of success, you know, fear of the unknown, fear of missing out on something else. There's a lot of fear there, and just, you know, anything that's uncomfortable is going to be tied to fear at some certain level. So I think that is one of the big driving factors of why people choose to procrastinate. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't consider myself a procrastinator, but I know like when I do tend to procrastinate, it is when I'm sort of unsure of my next step, or like not sure of like if something's going to work, and I'll find everything else in the world to do instead of taking action on what I know I need to take action on. But I also tend to say, okay, like I recognize that and I'm like, okay, like you're procrastinating. This isn't like you. Like, why are you doing it? What I find to be not helpful, and what I see people falling into the trap of doing, is like labeling themselves a procrastinator. Like, oh, I'm such a procrastinator. Why isn't that helpful? Why is that like not the best approach to overcoming procrastination?
I mean, it's kind of that thing that you put out, you know, it's the way that you kind of project yourself out into the world, right? If you're going to label yourself something, people are going to draw to that in a certain way. It's this whole concept of, you know, law of attraction. If you're down in the dumps and you're, you know, Debbie Downer, people are going to, you know, that's this type of, you know, stuff that you're going to project out. And so if you're labeling yourself as a procrastinator, you're basically enabling yourself to continue that behavior and use that as an excuse. So you're like, oh yeah, I'll get to that. I'm such a procrastinator, so I'm going to do it. So it's almost like you're giving yourself permission to continue to be a procrastinator. And so for those people that are struggling and don't want to procrastinate, if you use that as an excuse, you're going to be in this, you know, crazy cycle of continuing that behavior. So, you know, definitely not helpful if you're trying to make a change in your life and you're afraid of making those steps toward, you know, what you want. You have to kind of allow yourself to say, okay, I have tendencies to be a procrastinator, but I don't want to do this anymore, and then move forward and figure out what that is that's going to help you get there.
Yeah, I mean, so I think everybody who's listening is like probably nodding along and being like, okay, yes, totally relate. This is me. I see myself. I'm getting this. Now, what are some of the best strategies for overcoming procrastination? Things that you use in your coaching practice that have been successful for your clients? I think that's what everyone wants to probably hear next.
For sure. I mean, I think there's so many different strategies, and it really depends on the person and what they're procrastinating about. And, you know, there's some people that are out there that don't necessarily like to plan, but I hate to say this, but sometimes time management and planning is some of the definite stuff that helps. If you don't, if you almost don't commit to something, like let's say, I have to write this paper and I don't set myself a deadline. I'm going to kind of just do when I want to, and I can get to a point where I might get myself into a pressure situation where I'm trying to get everything done at the last minute, which causes a lot of stress. But if you allow yourself to plan a little bit better, and just really, really understand what you need to get done and why, you can implement some sort of plan to get yourself on those steps. And you want to break them down into little manageable steps, because I think that a lot of times people procrastinate because the task that they're trying to do is so big, right? If you're trying to lose 15 pounds, and 15 pounds may seem like a lot to people if you're trying to get there. But if you think about, okay, let's focus on maybe like the first 3 pounds and work on that in in chunks, then it doesn't seem so overwhelming. And so there's definitely a lot of different strategies. Most of the people that I work with are trying to work toward a goal. And, I had a client who is trying to overhaul this huge new project that she just started. And, our first meeting was like, okay, I just feel so overwhelmed. I don't know where to start. And she was sitting there and not taking any action because she didn't know which direction to go. So really just thinking about, what is the goal that you're trying to accomplish, and really putting together a plan. And that's kind of how I work with all my clients in any sort of goal, really just setting yourself some sort of action plan to take, that will be your best bet in trying to overcome the procrastination.
Yeah, I find that's true too. I find that really works, is breaking things down into smaller deliverables, into smaller goals, and then setting deadlines against them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so much more manageable.
Yeah. And it feels like less overwhelming, because then, I don't know, I'm the type of person, I like to cross things off a list. And so it feels good to be able to say, okay, I accomplished that specific task, and now I can cross that off, rather than having to wait weeks and weeks to cross one thing off.
Yeah, because then you just feel like you're not making progress, and it's so difficult. So totally hear that.
Yeah. Are there any online tools that you like to use, or any apps or things that you can recommend for people who are just getting started?
Yeah, there's this one. Oh, so here's a funny thing in terms of me trying to stay productive and not procrastinate, because I think that for me, even though I'm pretty productive, sometimes I get into these spaces, and this too, as an entrepreneur, you have to control your own schedule, and there's so many things that need to happen and so many things that need to be done. And so number one, I use a calendar, to kind of put together my day, and I almost break everything down into 30-minute chunks. So if there's, if I need to respond to a couple emails, I've got, check email during this time, or I need to prepare for this meeting. I have little chunks all throughout my day. I even, put stuff on my calendar, like I'm traveling from my house to my Pilates class or something like that. It is very, very detailed in terms of my day, because I also work with overcommitted people, so they sometimes try to pack their schedule a little bit too much. But anyways, going back to those days that I have a full day of just trying to get stuff done, and I have a long list. What I've done recently is there's this program, I think it's called Action Ally, that is online. You can do a free trial for I think 5 days or so. And what it does is it allows you, it'll set timers for you on certain tasks that you want to do. So you can basically plan your day out on your computer and say, okay, I need to send this email to so-and-so. I need to do this call. I need to, research this thing. And you can make a checklist, and you can cross things off as you get them done, which is nice. And then, but you can also set timers. So if you like to do the Pomodoro technique, which is a small subset of time where you're super focused on one task, it'll allow you to do that. And so you can just start the timer, start working, and it'll set an alarm saying, okay, you're done. And then you can take a break, or you can you can kind of see where you want to go from there. So that's been something that I've been using recently. I switch tools all the time just because, you know, I help people with this type of stuff and trying to find the right tools that work for them, because everybody's different. I like to try a whole bunch of different things, but that's the one that is working for me most of the time right now.
And that's probably the techie in you too. You like all the different ones.
Ooh, it's great. And it, you know, it'll pop up and like, are you doing this? And it even actually filters out the websites that can distract you. So if you are a Facebook junkie and you end up on Facebook, and it can tell if you're on, you can set certain websites. If I'm on this site too long, like if it's past 10 minutes, it'll send you an alert saying like, stop. So I haven't had to do that yet because I'm pretty regimented, but I know that other people do use it who introduced me to this program. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds great. I like it. I love the idea of time chunking and schedule blocking. You know, I tell clients to do that all the time in terms of like scheduling their exercise into their calendar and scheduling their meal planning into their calendar and meal prep. And they're like, what are you talking about? That's weird. And I'm like, no, it works. You have to do it.
Yeah. You know, I think it's hardest for the people that kind of like to wing it during the day.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, why do I need the calendar to dictate my schedule? But if they're struggling with procrastination or just anything like that, where they're not, you know, their time management isn't, you know, they're not getting anything done, then, you know, you kind of have to make a commitment to that if you want things to change.
Yeah, it's like you control your schedule or you let it control you. What is it?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So I know you have a free gift for everybody listening. So tell us about that and tell us where we can find you if we want to connect with you after this video.
Sure. So my website is www.thecheerfulmind.com, and on the front page there's an opt-in for a webinar that I did a while back. It's called How to Make Time to Do the Things You Love Without Sacrificing Your Success. I work with a lot of people that, you know, they always feel like they don't have enough time to do X, Y, and Z. And, you know, I want to help them be able to realize that they can do X, Y, and Z and not let everything else fall apart while that's happening. So you can check out that webinar by opting in on the page, www.thecheerfulmind.com. And my most exciting news is that in the next few months, I haven't, as of the day that we're doing this video, I haven't picked a launch date yet, but sometime in early 2017, I'm coming out with a book called Finding Success in Balance. Yay! It's my journey to the cheerful mind. It talks a lot about what work-life balance is, how you get there, and just my perspectives and some reflections on things that I've experienced in my life, and how you can apply that to your stuff. And it's really the fundamentals of what I teach as a coach. So, you know, it's one of those great things where I put a lot of time into just kind of sharing my story and having people understand, you know, where I'm coming from, why I am so passionate about helping people find balance. And yeah, and so that's coming out soon. So if you also sign up, you'll be able to hear updates on when that's actually coming out. But I should know later this month.
Great. Awesome. Well, from one author to another, congratulations. I know how much time and energy and work goes into writing your book. So congrats. Everybody check out Apryl. Go to her website. It's you know, it's funny because like, I think your website, because I know you, it's so you and it's so Apryl, and you know, it's kind of, I hear the same thing from people about my own website. They're like, oh, it's so you. Yeah. So check out our website, beautiful site, really great content on there. And thank you, Apryl, for being here and sharing with us about procrastination. I found it really helpful, and I hope everyone listening did too.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.